34, 35 great-grandchildren. His great-grandchild is 24. Well, what I was going to talk about was Save Lanes Cove. Now, what's going on, this is about 55 years ago. They tried to give Lanes Cove to Boston University. And when it was fought, as hard as anything has ever been fought in Boston. If they could change one thing in one of their agenda, one word, it was amazing. It was overturned about 6 times. There was a committee here. They finally came down, and in the National Science Foundation, they're down in Lanes Cove. This is when they rejected. Now, the paper would come out and say that there is a handful of people in Lanesville that are opposing giving this to Boston University, which they were talking about making it into a lab. But the truth of the matter is, it was far more involved, and they would put in the paper that this group was blocking it. But the bill said, and it sounds very innocent, it said the fishermen, commercial fishermen presently using the cove, they can continue to do so. Are you a commercial fisherman? No. Presently? It's over. You would never be going to Lanes Cove today if it hasn't been completely blocked. The thing went on, there was an act done, and I'm summarizing this stuff kind of quickly because of time. Let me put my glasses on. It says here, this is after it's all over, we extend the more than 2,500 signatures of Gloucester and the more than 1,500 supporters without the city sincere appreciation for having endorsed our petition opposing the abandonment of the public rights in Lanes Cove. Now that's a lot of signatures. Now it's kind of hard to believe. But the meetings, they were in my house. This is the book of the handful of signatures that was there. It goes on and on, page after page. I can back up 2,800 of this handful without question. So that's in there, and so today, the reason you can go down in the Lanes Cove, you'd never be able to go there otherwise if this hadn't been done. And the people at the time, we talked about what they did at UMass in Bayview. You go to UMass. They gave that away. Now that's what Lanesville would be like if you couldn't go to Lanes Cove. But are there any questions on that? Or?
No, just a big thank you.
Anyhow, that's what happened, and you would not go there today.
Walter, I got a question.
What's the question?
Didn't they try to revoke the town landing that was put in place?
They tried everything.
That was put in place in the 1700s?
The second book that I had put away are all the letters and all the correspondence that was up in here that were tied to the cove. And it's very interesting. What you need to have are good readers. That's why I say when you read Commercial Fishermen present using, and you had to have good writers. There were good writers here and good workers. And like one person wrote, you can give away your rights, don't give away any of mine. And so that's how that all developed along the line. But all of the letters to the editor, I have them all, just about all. I can't say that that's in here. And even, well, the one interesting one is it's the letter, it's the clergyman that it's the prayer that startled Gloucester. And when it was spoken in 1916, and when you look at what was said at 1916 and what today is, there's no change from the people trying to give things away and everything. I have a copy of that letter too. It's in there.
Wow.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Wally.
you.
Would you talk a little bit about the bus that went to the state legislature, because they were going to bring up the issue, but what had they done?
2 busloads went up to the State House, because they were going to hear the bill. When they got there, they said the bill number such and such will not be heard. And all they did was change the number. They were telling the truth. And so if you send anything to the state, it's better to send it into the clerk, because he then will, it can be recorded. If you send it into your representative, he can just drop it in the wastebasket. So there's a lot of rules of the ball game that you learn, and we learned them very well. You know, that was there. So, but some of the letters are very interesting, written by a lot of the local the people here, Wacko Miley, you know, and probably Elmer Porter, I think it is. It's there. They're all there, but they're all in the book. And the things that the Times would put in, but we could put something out on the pretty much right away, because it ended up that the company I worked for happened to have a printing press. You know, and so they couldn't, and we had a telephone operator too, so we could fan out across the state. But I won't get into too much deeper than that, because we got time out, we got other people.
Yeah, thanks, Wally.
Wow.
I was going to ask a question, and Wally answered it without my asking it, so I'll ask it of the rest of you. The Lanesville Stories Committee intends to build the time capsule of the village life. What would be your must-include contribution that captures Lanesville's storied past for future generations? Edwin?
I haven't introduced myself.
Oh. By all means.
Everybody
I
says,
don't want that.
can't hear you.
They'll hear me. Brain fog is not a good day, but I'll do my best. I was born in Lanesville at 63 Langsford Street on July 16, 1926. My father was born in Finland in 1873, but because of the Russian occupation, he had to serve in the Russian army for 2 years. But he came to the United States when he was 20 years old, which would make it, But anyway, he worked he had a friend, John Pyrie, where he had rented a room, and he worked at the quarries. He was injured and he lost a month's work, but he went back. During the Depression, the quarry stopped. But then they started making ultimate blocks. Cement blocks with stone chips in them, about a foot square, 4 inches thick. And when they closed, well, my father got a place in the quarry where there was a lot of chips that he cut up, and he was paid by the ton. After that, John Pyrie worked at Hammond Castle, and he hired my father to work with him. So he worked there until his retirement. He bought a Lanesville house for $900, financed by Dr. Rowley. On this property, there was a good-sized barn, room for garage, a work area, a loft for storage, a chicken coop on the rear, we had a dozen chickens, and the outhouse was on the side of the barn. There was also a Bartlett pear tree, a Baldwin apple tree, a sizable garden, a shed where my mother did the laundry and hang it on to dry outside on the line. Also attached to the house was a grapevine, very popular at that time, Concord grapes.